The city never truly sleeps, but sometimes it swallows you whole. The city hummed its familiar, low frequency, but tonight it felt like a vibration beneath my skin. At 3:47 a.m., scrolling mindlessly, I heard a faint, hollow thud from Mrs. Albright's apartment next door, followed by what sounded like a scuff, almost like something heavy being dragged. I brushed it off, another old building settling, another eccentric neighbor just moving furniture in the dead of night. The next morning, the lingering smell of stale coffee couldn't mask the unsettling quiet. Her door, usually shut tight, was ajar by a few inches, a sliver of darkness visible within. A small pile of flyers and an overdue gas bill lay untouched on her mat. Perhaps she had an early flight. I tried to convince myself, but the casualness of the open door felt wrong. Days bled into a week, then another. Her door remained ajar, untouched, a silent sentinel in the hallway, its persistent stillness a growing bruise on my peace of mind. I kept thinking of old Mr. Henderson, who used to live next to my grandmother. Just gone one morning, no note, just an empty house and a lingering sense of absence. Rationality started to fray around the edges as shadows in my peripheral vision seemed to lengthen, to move just beyond direct sight. A fleeting glimpse of something tall, indistinct, at the far end of the hall had my breath catching in my throat. I checked my deadbolt, then check it again, the cold metal a small comfort against the growing chill that seemed to radiate from her silent apartment. My calls to building management, and then the police were met with polite dismissals. People move, sometimes without telling anyone. But there were no moving trucks, no boxes, just that deepening, oppressive silence from her unit, a tangible weight pressing against my apartment wall. There was a faint, metallic scent in the air now, too, like old copper or a forgotten iron pipe, strangely sweet and cloying. The sound returned last night, undeniable this time. Not a creak, but a low, guttural drag, like wet meat pulled slowly across rough concrete, echoing down the empty hall. It stopped directly outside my door, and I could feel the vibrations through the floorboards as my heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic, trapped bird. I held my breath, wishing for silence. Sleep was a distant memory, replaced by a constant, jittery vigilance. Every shadow in my small apartment shifted with a malevolent intent. Every floorboard groaned a threat. The comforting drone of the city outside felt miles away, muffled, as if a thick blanket had been thrown over the world, isolating me. There was only me and a growing dread. A faint scratching began from inside my wall, not the frantic scurry of a mouse, but a slow, deliberate scrape, seeking purchase, testing. Then a dull, heavy thud, followed by a sickening, wet crack that echoed in the sudden quiet of my apartment. The metallic, coppery smell was no longer faint. It was overwhelming, thick in the air. I pressed my ear to the cold plaster, breath held. No more scratching, just a faint, impossible whisper, so close murmuring my own name. It didn't come from the wall. It came from behind me, accompanied by a sudden, profound drop in temperature that stole the air from my lungs. My apartment door stood ajar, wide open. On the floor by the threshold lay my own mail, scattered, an unopened utility bill flyer. I didn't remember opening it, leaving it like that. The hallway stretched ahead, an endless, lightless maw, the weak beam from my phone barely piercing the oppressive gloom. And there it was, a faint, dark sheen on my own floorboards, a fresh, viscous trail leading into the waiting shadows. Some disappearances aren't about leaving. They're about being taken one quiet piece at a time.